risk versus reward. How is Magnus Carlsen going to measure it? It's 3, 2, 1. And we've got action. First move, what's it gonna be? It's the King's Pawn opening. And the Sicilian.
C3 Sicilian for the kill. Let's go, David. We hype over here. We both play this.
Wow, one of my favorite openings from childhood. Magnus, though, he has kind of developed a soft spot for the C3 Sicilian in recent years. He used it actually to totally neutralize Pragnananda in the World Cup final last year in 2023. He often plays this when he's happy with the draw. He wants to push, but he wants to have one hand on the break.
Championship match, who also discussed a lot of the Sicilian Alpin ideas with him. So Magnus employing all of that right now. Now this is traditional theory here, right? We're in a standard position where black really wants to put pressure on the d4 pawn. I've played against the Alpin. I love how both of you love it from the white side. I really enjoy playing against it because I get the isolated queen's pawn. I'm coming for it, and I just feel that black can play for a slight push there.
Well, Magnus clearly hasn't studied my game, so I'm an advocate of putting the bishop on e3 in that position. Pawn takes c5 actually in the last position as well, if you want to imbalance things, but Magnus plays it very, very safe.
I actually like the bishop e2 move. That's funny. I like bishop e2, bishop e2 castles, bishop e3, knight bd2 setup. That's one of my favorite. And then rook e1 and knight takes d4. Let's see what he goes for.
I need Maxime to take on d4 and get that IQP. Ooh. And now he needs to decide, does he swipe the queen to the right side of the board, but then you're lining it up against the bishop at some moments. You usually fall back with the queen to a more defensive square.
Yeah, you have a choice here. A few safe squares to retreat to. And Magnus most likely will capture a pawn on c5, and we'll see the queens come off quite early. I think Magnus wants to play this very safe, and I'm not saying that this is totally equal, because white will have a 3 versus 2 majority on the queen side. It's actually maybe a more mobile majority in the near future. But yeah, ultimately, this isn't the most aggressive way to play with white, and it's a clear insight into his strategy.
Sicilian by Evgeny Sveshnikov, big yellow book, and it was nice, and it actually had everything in it. In fact, one of the things in there was talking about the Endgame chapters, where David pointed out is a 3 versus 2 on the queen side, which, of course, if you study the endgames, you understand and know that the queen side majority is the better majority to have going into an endgame. So when all the pieces trade off, you have 3 versus 2, and you have sort of an advantage, quotation marks, where you can play for something more due to the queen side majority in endgames. So that book actually was so good because it went over the games, but it also showed you what endgames could potentially look like as well.
You guys are very pessimistic about the black pieces against the Alpin. I will tell you one of the plans that Maxime can have here. You know, put that queen on e7, advance that e-pawn 1 step ahead, and activate that bishop. Get the rook on the d file, and you've got your own trumps to speak of. Endgame, you mentioned no endgame for you here.
No endgame, I'm telling you, okay?
We will see who is correct. Knight to a4 now kicks away this bishop. I love that book as well, James, by the way. It's so heavy, though.
It's a heavy book, right? It's like 400 pages. I remember starting reading it without a board at some point. I kept reading it over and over. Just trying to, obviously work on calculation and see visualization, etc.
Ooh, hesitation there. He pulls back. He put that bishop on a7. To me, that was the natural square to retreat.
in the balance. If Magnus takes his eye off the ball, this could turn. But for now, 2 pawns versus 0 on the queen side. If they start running, he's a favourite. He should still win this game.
Yeah, and that miss will not matter if Magnus gets the point, right? But if something goes wrong, that's going to haunt him for the next round for sure. And the king comes into play. Maxime, he's trying to get all his pieces active. It's a race now. How does he improve this position? How does he give a check to that white king?
He's going to try and come in with his own king. Magnus doesn't see any threats, pushes pawns. Maxime's under 10 seconds on the clock.
Oof.
This is dangerous for him. The black king coming in though.
You have to take that pawn back, the king moves back, and the knight, it just doesn't have a good jumping square towards the white king. That is the problem. Rook F2, stopped.
Oh, the knight trade about to happen. Rook endgames are going to win for white.
3 seconds.
Oh, he's going to move. Oh, just about made it there, Maxime. His pawn drops though.
Oh, that's bad news, because that was the soul of black's position, right?
Now the white king gets out of the pin.
Pass pawns here.
White has 2 potential future queens on the queen side. The A and B pawns. Knight's gone now. All about the rooks.
2 extra pawns here on that left side of the board. Magnus up on the clock has got those extra seconds to navigate this.
He knows how close he is. He's getting a bit nervous, Magnus, because it's still not job over yet. He knows it's inside that finishing line. He's moving his king on over, but be careful not to get checkmated. That white king. The white king will hide in front of its pawns, given the opportunity.
For Maxime, it essentially keeps the 2 rooks alive for counterplay. 1 rook's traded off and the pawns will start pushing up the board.
It's a check. The king will start dancing, start running forward now.
Yeah. Just do a zigzag onto that b5 square if the checks follow, attacks the rook, attacks the f6 pawn in return.
Resignation. Whoa!
Magnus Carlsen takes the win. He books his place in the final of the Champions Chess Tour here. Wow, what a game. Maxime, we have to commend him on a great fight. He looks disheartened, but ultimately